Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's time to dive headfirst into the wild, unpredictable world of the Dallas Cowboys, where drama seems to follow like a shadow in the Texas sun. We've got a lot to unpack today, from contract disputes that are heating up faster than a summer barbecue to bold statements from our quarterback that have everyone talking. So, grab your popcorn, Cowboys Nation, because this is breaking news you don't want to miss. Before we jump into the chaos, I want to give a massive shout out to William Cook, who dropped a $5 super thanks, securing himself another entry into our George Pickens jersey raffle. William, you're a legend, and we can't thank you enough for the support. If you want to get in on the action like William, drop a super thanks, send us a message, and we'll give you a shout out right here on the show. Now, let's get to the main event, the Micah Parsons contract situation that's got Cowboys fans on the edge of their seats. The Micah Parsons saga is the kind of story that could only unfold in Dallas, where high stakes and high drama go hand in hand. Micah Parsons, one of the most electrifying defensive players in the NFL, is at the center of a contract dispute that's starting to feel like a soap opera. From what we've gathered, and trust me, I've been following Cowboys contract drama long enough to need a vacation. This situation looked like it was going to be different. Micah, the heart and soul of this defense, went into a meeting with Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones feeling optimistic. He believed they were on the same page, with most of the core pieces of a new deal already agreed upon. The vibe was positive, the finish line was in sight, and all that was left, according to Micah, was a quick call to his agent to polish up the contract language and make it official. Sounds simple, right? Well, this is the Cowboys we're talking about, and nothing is ever simple. Here's where things took a turn for the worse. In classic Jones family fashion, it seems Jerry and Stephen thought they could bypass Micah's agent entirely and seal the deal on their terms. That's right, Jerry and Stephen, notorious for their hands-on approach to negotiations, may have tried to cut the middleman out of the equation. Big mistake. The meeting that started with handshakes and smiles ended in frustration, and now we're in the middle of a full-blown blame game. Stephen Jones, ever the diplomat, came out with a classic line, "It takes two sides to make a deal." Meanwhile, Micah's team fired back, saying, "Hey, we called you, and you never called back." It's like watching two sides argue over who hung up first in a bad breakup. Honestly, trying to assign logic to this mess is like trying to herd cats in a thunderstorm. It's chaotic, it's exhausting, and it's all too familiar. If you've been a Cowboys fan for more than a season, you know this is just the latest chapter in a tired, predictable script. Every couple of years, we get the same story, a star player, a contract dispute, and a front office that seems to thrive on making things harder than they need to be. Whether it's Dez Bryant, Dak Prescott, or now Micah Parsons, the cycle repeats itself with a new name but the same old headaches. I'm over it, Cowboys Nation, and I know you are too. It's dumb, it's avoidable, and yet here we are again, watching the drama unfold like a reality TV show we can't stop binging. The worst part? This isn't just about money, it's about respect, trust, and building a team that can finally break through in the playoffs. Micah Parsons isn't just a player. He's a generational talent, a game changer who can single-handedly disrupt an offense. Losing him to a contract dispute would be a disaster, and the Cowboys can't afford to let this spiral out of control. Speaking of spiraling, let's pivot to another topic that's got the fan base buzzing, KaVontae Turpin and his potential role in this offense. Jared, one of our awesome viewers, dropped a super thanks with a spicy take, suggesting that Turpin could become the next great running back, a la Devin Hester, or even Marshall Faulk. Now, I love the enthusiasm, Jared, and I get where you're coming from. Turpin is electric, there's no denying that. The guy's got speed that makes defenders look like they're running in slow motion, and when he gets the ball in open space, it's must-see TV. Jet sweeps, reverses, bubble screens. Turpin can turn any play into a highlight reel. But let's pump the brakes for a second and talk reality. Turpin's listed at around 155-160 pounds, And in today's NFL, that's just too small to handle the workload of a lead running back. We haven't seen a feature back under 170 pounds in decades. Go back to the history books, and you might point to someone like Ontario Smith as the last notable lightweight runner, but even he was more of an exception than the rule. Tavon Austin, another speedster, was used as a gadget player rather than a full-time back, and he had more bulk than Turpin. Does that mean Turpin can't contribute? Absolutely not. This guy is a weapon, and the Cowboys would be foolish not to use him creatively. Imagine a play where Turpin lines up in the slot, takes a quick screen, and burns past the secondary for a 40-yard gain. Or a jet sweep where he cuts back against the grain and leaves linebackers grasping at air. The potential is there, but expecting him to carry the ball 15 times a game is a stretch. He's not a workhorse, he's a spark plug, a player who can change the game in small doses. The key is for the coaching staff to actually use him. We've seen too many weapons gather dust on this roster over the years, and Turpin can't be one of them. So, Jared, I love the vision, but let's keep Turpin in his lane as a dynamic playmaker, not a bell cow back. Now, let's talk about something that hit the airwaves like a lightning bolt. Dak Prescott's recent comments about giving money back to win a Super Bowl. Massive Matt, another one of our Rockstar viewers, dropped a $10 super chat and brought this up, and I'm glad he did because it's a topic worth dissecting. Dak, our guy, the leader of this team, made headlines when he said he'd be willing to take less money if it meant building a Super Bowl roster. First off, let me say this, I love Dak. He's our quarterback. He's shown he can handle the pressure of playing in Dallas, and I stand by him through thick and thin. But this statement? It's layered and it's complicated. On the surface, it sounds noble. Dak's willing to sacrifice for the team, to put winning above personal gain. But when you dig deeper, there's a frustration behind those words that speaks to the bigger issues with this franchise. This brings us to another point Matt raised. What's the biggest fear for the Cowboys this season? For me, it's a two-headed monster. First, the obvious one, Dak getting hurt again. We've been down this road before, and it's a nightmare. Dak's a top-tier quarterback with a ceiling that can take this team to the Super Bowl, but injuries have derailed him in the past. If he goes down again, we're right back in Tony Romo territory, a talented QB who can't stay healthy, leading to questions about contracts, the future, and the direction of the franchise. It's a spiral that's hard to escape, and it's a fear that looms large every time Dak drops back to pass. The second fear? What if Brian Schottenheimer, our offensive coordinator, just isn't good? I was talking to my buddy RJ about this the other day, and we both had the same thought. What if we look back in a year or two and realize hiring Schottenheimer was a mistake? The guy wasn't exactly a hot commodity when the Cowboys brought him in, and there's a reason for that. He talks a lot about culture and being the right kind of guy. Sound familiar? That's the same vibe we got from Jason Garrett, and we all know how that turned out. Culture matters, but it doesn't win you games if the play calling is stale or the scheme doesn't work. I hope I'm wrong, but it's a concern that's hard to shake. Let's hear from you, Cowboys Nation. What's your biggest fear for the season? And while you're at it, drop your predictions for the Cowboys record in the comments. Are we looking at 12-5, 10-7, or something else entirely? I want to know what you think. And for those of you blaming Rowdy, the mascot, for our playoff woes, yeah, I see you. I've got a radical idea. Let's ditch the mascot altogether. We're the Dallas Cowboys, a professional franchise with a storied history. We don't need gimmicks or a guy in a cowboy hat dancing on the sidelines. Unless the gimmick is a Weekend at Bernie-style skit with Jerry Jones, but that might be a bit too dark for primetime. Let's keep it light and move on. Another question came from Doc, not the quarterback, but one of our awesome viewers who asked if we should trade Trevon Diggs. There's been some chatter about frustration with Diggs, and I get it. He's coming off an injury, and his cap hit isn't exactly small. But right now, trading him makes no sense. No team is giving up picks or assets for a cornerback who's banged up and carries a big contract, especially not in August. Maybe that conversation changes in the offseason if health remains a concern, but for now, Diggs is a Cowboy, and that's where he belongs. If you want to show your Cowboys pride, by the way, head over to chatsports.com/jersey, where you can grab legit Nike gear, some of it discounted up to 20%. Not every jersey is marked down, but you can snag a deal for as low as $80 in some cases. Links are in the comments and description, so check it out. William Cook came back with another super thanks, this time a whopping $50. We ran the beer bongs for that one live, and let me tell you, William, you made our night. He also made a great point about the interior defensive line, which is looking shakier than a Jenga tower in a windstorm. With the way this defense is shaping up, the Cowboys might need to score 30 points a game just to stay competitive. Sound familiar? It feels like every year, the offense has to carry the load because the defense, especially the interior line, can't hold up when it matters most. That's a red flag, and we're going to dive deep into that issue in a separate video soon, so stay tuned for that. Dust Productions laid out a solid blueprint for the future, signed Micah Parsons and Darren Bland this year, extend George Pickens and Tyler Smith next year, and keep the cap hits manageable. That's a plan I can get behind. It's financially savvy and prioritizes keeping the core intact. You'd likely let players like Zach Martin or Trevon Diggs walk in free agency, draft a new linebacker and corner, and maybe find a running back in the middle rounds. If DeMarvion Overshown steps up, that could fill a major gap at linebacker too. As for Jake Ferguson being Teoni, I'm not sold yet, but he's trending in the right direction. He's got the tools to be a top-tier tight end, but he needs to prove it over a full season. Daniel M. brought up a question about Tom, the strength and conditioning coach, and his role in handling training camp fights. Look, camp fights happen, it's football, and guys are going to get heated. Tom's laid down the law when things get out of hand, and I think he's striking the right balance. You want physicality in camp, it builds toughness and sets the tone for the season. But you don't want chaos or injuries. So far, the staff has managed it well, and Schottenheimer hasn't had to deal with any fines for fights, which is a good sign. It's a thin line to walk, but they're walking it. If you want to be featured in a future mailbag, make sure to subscribe at youtube.com/cowboysdom. We're building a community here, and we want your voice to be part of it. And speaking of voices, let's close with a classic from Chris Ivan Diaz, who dropped the ultimate truth bomb. Dez caught it. You're damn right, Chris. Dez caught it, and we're still not over that call. It's a wound that never heals, but it's part of what makes us Cowboys fans passionate, loyal, and ready to fight for our team. Finally, Jariah Jones added a bit of humor, saying he's heard good things about Span Ford, but hopes he doesn't break down like a Ford. Jokes aside, Span Ford has been turning heads in camp, and the battle for TE2 is going to be one to watch. Will he step up and claim that spot, or will someone else emerge? We'll find out soon enough. Cowboys Nation, that's the latest from Dallas, where the drama never stops and the stakes are always high. What do you think about the Micah Parsons contract situation? Are you worried about Doc's health or Schottenheimer's play calling? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep the conversation going. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and let's go Cowboys.